The entire opus of spiritual work is to convert the ego, the ani, into the ayin, into the nothing. It's the dissolving of the ego. As Freud said, the ego is a body ego. So, in a certain sense, it's a dissolving of the body ego. It's like a die before you die. It's to be alive but with no ego. A conversion of the ani into the ayin, which are the same letters rearranged. Ani in Hebrew is Aleph, Nun, Yud. It's also Gematria 61, which is 1 in 60. The Aleph in the 60. And this is the whole secret, how to convert this ani into the ayin. And it's simple. Rearrange the final two letters. Instead of Aleph, Nun, Yud, which is ani, you go into Aleph, Yud, Nun. Final Nun, which goes all the way down. It's funny because Aleph, Yud, Nun, the Gematria is 711. And I just went to 711 before I did this video. Not kidding. I had some man asked me to go get him a coffee. And so we convert the ani into the ayin. Now this is the meditation. But what I'm going to show you hasn't been said. All Hasidic work is this idea of the dissolving, the bittul of the ego, of the yesh, of the I. And this is a great secret, that it's I, me, I, and that's the ego of the self. And we're supposed to convert that into the zero, to the ayin, to the Ein of the Ein Sof, same letters. And the level of ayin. So let's do that. One other thing. Obviously, the full gematria, these letters spelt out are Aleph, that's 111. Nun, 106, that's 217. And Yud, 20, fully spelled out, it's 237. And so the ayin would obviously be the same letters, same gematria, 247. 237, excuse me. Now, 237 times 2, because there's two words here, ani, ayin. I want you to meditate to know that this is the whole work. It's to lose the ego. Lose the ego. Once you lose the ego, you've attained what the whole goal is in religion. Okay? And I'll show you what's created. You lose the entire, you attain the goal of religion, which is to lose the ego and still be alive. See? And so, convert these letters. See that they're the same letters. That the final goal is ayin, 711. How to get there? rearrange the ego of the self. Drop the ego, and you'll be in the ayin. These two gematriot of 237 times 237, plus 237 for these two levels, is 474. Remember, everything is a double in Judaism. Bereshis, two beginnings. You know? And so, $474 is the gematria of Da'as. So everybody wants to know how to create Da'as. You know, on the tree of life, there are 10 Sephirot. And Da'as is sometimes shown, but they say, oh, it's not counted as a Sephirot. And then they say that Da'as can't appear with Keter in the same tree, because then you'd have 11. But wait till you see this. Remember, Ani comes from Malkuth, this world. So Ani, Aleph Nun Yud, is from Malkuth, the lowest Sephirah. Ayin is the name of Keter sometimes. Keter is considered ayin. So when you transmute the ani into the ayin, you go from Malkuth to Keter. When these two appear together, in my opinion, you get Keter Malkuth. When the Ani comes up and unites with when the Malkuth comes up and unites with the Keter, you get Keter Malkuth. When the Ani comes up and unites with the ayin, you get 237 and 237. That's 474, and that's the gematria of Da'as. Keter Malkuth. Keter comes and crowns Malkuth above it. When that occurs, then you get Da'as. Then Das opens, the Adam's apple, the link between the head and the body. Keter Malkuth, which is the crown. You know, Keter Malkuth has like one of the great gematrias. Keter Malkuth is 1116. Which just so happens to be the gematria of my brother's name, Shimon, who's sending me this, obviously. And Keter Malkuth plus 2, Keter and Malkuth, comes out to be 1118, which is the gematria of the first line of the Shema, the most important phrase in Judaism is the Shema, which I'm going to talk to about in the next video. It's the most important phrase, and it's also part of the word Bereshis, because remember we did Bereshis, 2 starts, but we could also do Barashis, created 6. And those 6 are the 6 words of the Shema. The Shema is the whole thing of Judaism. And the activity of changing the ani into the ayin is the other act, the personal act. That is true religion. And the beauty of these two names, ani and ayin, together form da'as. So da'as will open, whatever you feel da'as is. Da'as is a primal sexuality. Da'as is a, necking. Is a very, when people, they cut off their heads, they cut them off at da'as. It's the link. It's actually also, da'as represents the third nefesh. There's a third soul. The higher aspects of the animal soul. The intellectual aspects of the animal soul can be found in Das. In the Nefesh Sikalit, everything is the in-between. It's just like the Yud, Vav, Yud, and the Aleph. The in-between, the Vav, is the real thing. It's the thing that makes the union. This union is higher than the two extremes. The center pillar is higher than the two extremes. Das represents that. So Da'as is also the juxtaposition, the in-between, the transitional stages, back and forth, up and down, here and there, between the ani and the ayin. Because you never really lose it completely, because you get a new soul, a new ani every day. And due to the repetition compulsion, you have to go through the same processes every day, because you're a new person every day. So we're creating da'as every day. And we're transitioning from ani, of the daily soul that comes in, because it comes in with an animal instinct, into the ayin every day. And this transition of the two fullnesses of ani and ayin creates a middle, and that middle is das, the center pillar. And not only the true center pillar, the center between the 3 of the head and the 7 of the body. The laws of 3 and 7. So beautiful. So simple. So spiritual. So religious. What an opportunity one has to transition one's soul, to work on one's soul down here in the physical world, where the activities of the daily life have the potential to raise up the soul sparks, not only for you here in the physical body, but for those in Gan Eden already. You can attain a higher level in Gan Eden by the work down here in the physical world. For those souls that are already in Gan Eden, and for your soul. And then tomorrow, when you attain a new soul spark, you will have that same opportunity again to raise the function. And then when you sleep, because sleep is 1/60th of death. Where did they get that 1/60th? It comes from the Aleph of the two letters of Nun and Yud. That's the 60. The din of Ani is 60. Nun, Aleph. The din of Ayin, Aleph, Yud, Nun, is also 60. So when they say that sleep is 1/60th of death, you see, it's the Aleph in relation to the other two letters. And so we sleep, we die 1/60th, and then we have another chance tomorrow of dissolving the ego. And the beauty and the opportunity to dissolve the ego.